Welcome everybody to Rolls and Rockets Planescape Torment, Episode 7. We have returned to the plains. Last episode, we spoke to Morns with Trees, and we told him that we would vow to think well of them so that they may flourish through our will. Our will alone will strengthen the trees of this. Yeah. Ash-covered trees. Looks like it suffered greatly. Poor little feller. This door is locked. Oh. Interesting. What you first took to be a door in this archway is actually a painting. The artist has made use of the shadows of the overhanging arch and some subtle texturing effects to give the door the illusion of substance. Examine the door. Other than the skill of the artist, there is nothing remarkable about the painting. The door has been painted on a rough stone wall. You can feel the stone and mortar beneath the painted wooden texture. Leave the door alone. Huh. Starved dog barking thug. This wild-eyed man is hunched over, barking and howling at the top of his lungs. Beneath his thick, matted hair, you can make out a series of strange tattoos. They run the range from screaming faces to bizarre geometric shapes to what appear to be the lines of verse. He is almost naked, but the dirt and filth covering him gives him the semblance of modesty. Give a long, forlorn howl. The man whirls on you as he hears your howl, then gives a lopsided grin. Then he throws his head back, howling with you. He stops a few moments later, then resumes his loping about, snarling and barking like some feral dog. Snarl back at him, baring your teeth. The man's barking ends with a snarl, and he leaps at you. Oh shit. If this is how you want to die, Wolfman. Oh. Well, you know. I think that, what was, her name? Sev Tai wanted us to kill these fellows. So, I'm gonna get Mort right on top of him. Get him, Mort. Get him. You just fight people forever. Should be fine though. Let's see. 2 damage. See, it's not so bad. Oh, what? I told him to attack. Why is he not attacking? Oh, there he goes. Huh. Dirty Rat Charm. My favorite, Dirty Rat Charm. Oh. They want me tendies.
Stupid yabo.
Let Mort get their attention. Oh, whoa. Almost didn't see that guy. Save her spell, come on. Mort, I thought you got better taunts. There we go. Yeah. These guys are rude dudes. Well, so far the combat been fairly forgiving, which is good. These are one of the ways to farm early XP if one feels that it is needed. They drop a few copper comments sometimes, maybe some like copper jewelry, something like that. Wait. I was like moonwalk running. Okay. So if they're running away in fear, I can taunt them and they'll run back. That's good to know. Yeah, give me your loot. I want all the jink. All the shinies. Okay. Barking wilder. This wild-eyed man is hunched over, snarling and giving low growls. It looks like he hasn't trimmed his hair in years. It's so long it forms a veil over his eyes. He has a long, stringy mustache caked with grease and sweat, and the tips of the mustache droop so much that they have become tangled in his ragged beard. Growl at him. The man stops mid-snarl, and he reaches up to part the curtain of hair that cover his eyes. As his withered hand pulls away his dirty locks, several strange, puce-colored bugs fall from his hair and scatter across the cobbles. Yum! Behind the cloak of hair, the man's flesh is moon-pale and creased with wrinkles. His thick, bushy eyebrows form a V as he stares at you. Take my hand, the moon fly too? Uh. Moon's noom? The man frowns, but his eyebrows tilt upward in a reverse V, creating a bizarre expression. You have no idea how he accomplished the facial expression, but it makes you uncomfortable watching the muscles beneath his face shift into the new pattern. Can't tell whether he's angry, curious, both, or neither. Sing to kiss, speak a man. Answers prefer a woman heart. A single kiss speaks a woman's heart, but a man's answer is what you would prefer. Very well then, you would know this. My answer is a question, and an answer from you is what I would prefer. Yes. The man seems mesmerized by your voice. With every word you speak, a light flickers in his eyes. Arcing wilder am I am. A wanting, asking, a may you may. You may, and I will. Who or what are you? Chaos! Stutters out the word, as if having difficulty getting his tongue around it. Huh. Some say Xaucitex? Xaucitex? I honestly have no idea how that's supposed to be spelled. I say suspect I soaks. Okay. Chaos men. Men no. Them no. Men yes. 3 no's make a yes. He hunches down on his knees and begins to rock back and forth, singing in a childlike soprano. Chaos man, hop along home. A faction it is, yet we are alone. Brilliant. So, you are one of the Chaos Men. Yes, indeed. Very well. I had some other questions. He claps his hands delightfully like a child at a festival, then gives a howling shout. Question! Do not shun this question. Are you one of the Chaos Men? Chaos! He stutters out the word. So you are one of the Chaos Men. Huh. May I join? No. Looking for a man named Farod. Do you know of him? Arcing Wilder shrugs, then responds in a sing-song voice. Farod, not fair, not odd, lost not, help not, growls to himself as if to clear his throat. Maybe you lose him first, then ask me, then Farod's it will be. To lose him, I'd have to find him first. I had some other questions. I'm looking for a lost journal. Do you know where I might find one? It's hilarious you can ask like literally every single person this. He frowns, squints his eyes shut, then opens them back up. When he speaks again, his voice is level and straightforward. It's like a different, saner person is speaking. The effect is eerie. More than one lost, more than one must you find. Each part of you had one, so more than one must you find. He blinks and shakes his head for a moment, eyes at him, and chuckles uneasily. Can you tell me where at least one of them is?
Updated my journal.
He looks like he's about to object, and suddenly his left fist comes up and smacks him in the temple. He howls in response and suddenly stops blinking. One is in a cupboard in your guest room in the Hall of the Sensates, and another is on the walls of a tomb sealed deep beneath the city where the stones weep. The others are. Before he can finish, his right hand comes up and smashes him in the face, causing him to yowl again. Yow! He blinks and shakes his head for a moment, as if surprised at himself, and smiles uneasily. Hall of the Sensates, where's that? Barking Wilder holds up his hands. He doesn't seem to recall what he said. He said one was in a sarcophagus beneath the city. Where? Barking Wilder looks frightened for a moment, then points upwards with a hopeful expression. There? He gulps. He doesn't seem to know, and for some reason you believe him. Where are the other journals you mentioned? Barking Wilder shrugs, watching you warily. Other places, maybe? Gulps. I had some other questions. No asking today. Farewell. Well, that's a tree with one snapped branch too many. Mort rolls his eyes. No sense in chatting with Sousatects, Chief. They're a barmy bunch. Who are Sousatects again? They're a faction who don't have any rules, except don't keep one thought. Except don't keep one thought in their head for too long. They're sometimes called Chaos Men. No need to explain why. How do they get members? They just seem to attract members like flies. Well, members that are crazy or chaotic enough, I suppose. I don't think they have any recruiters, though you really can't say anything about them for sure. I see, thanks for the information.
Looks like my skills have increased.
Oh, Mort has leveled up. Fighting skills have improved. 10 hit points gained, 2 hit points gained for bonus. Oh. I like it. Let's... Harlot. It's the right tongue person. Talk to me. This man slowly turns as you approach. His eyes are like two black stones. They briefly flicker over your frame, then he locks gazes with you. Although this man looks humanoid, he has a yellow cast to his skin and gaunt features. He has a thin, angular frame. His limbs look like they're made of nothing but strings of muscle knotted around bone. His clothing is a curious blend of sharp colors and dull, mud-stained brown. Greetings. The man remains silent. He does not acknowledge your greeting, merely stares at you. I said greetings. Give it up, Chief. Talking to a Gith is like trying to make good with a razor vine. Let's go. Gith? Yeah, a Gith. Mort glances at the Gith, who is still staring at you. We'll talk about it some other time. I'm not ready to leave just yet. I'm going to ask him some questions first. The Gith remains silent, though his black eyes are still locked on you. Can you understand me? He pauses for a moment, studying you, then replies in broken common. You are not known to me. His accent makes it difficult to understand him. It's like he takes every word, snaps it, then drags out every vowel for good measure. The emphasis he places on the word known strikes you as odd. What do you want? I had some questions for you. I will not hear you. He looks like he's about to walk past you. Let him leave. Wow. Do. Let's talk to the drunk person. This man sways unsteadily back and forth, catches his balance for a moment, then manages a sickly, twisted smile at something just past your right ear. Huh. Greetings. He nods slowly, then manages a phlegm-filled gurgle, and a small green-colored trail of drool begins to drip from the side of his mouth, running down into his scruffy, dirt-caked beard. He looks like he's barely able to stand up, much less carry on a conversation. Never mind, farewell. Must be great at parties. Emercy. Oh,
Yeah.
these thugs really don't, really don't like me today.
Your face is just begging to be kicked.
Okay. Yeah, look at that damage. Whoa, Nameless One, you just can't just charge in there like that.
What a perfectly good waste
Yeah.
of arms and legs.
Yeah, let Mort get their attention. He is an amazing tank. Gotta give him that. He takes the threat and he just dishes out some damage. He's just the perfect companion in this game. Don't run away from me. That's rude.
Your sheer ugliness stabs pain
Y'all
into my
y'all
eyes.
started this. Alright? Don't be running. Oh yeah.
He's on fire! He's a red hot! Come on in!
He-
See what I mean?
He's on fire! Come on in!
Come on inside! Come see the burning man!
The hell?
He's on the spit! You'll love it! You, sir, come on in!
The guy in the background saying, "Come on in!" I'm gonna have to check out that place. That's the Smoldering Corpse Bar, I believe. Anywho, you see a young woman dressed in a tight leather bodice and leggings. She smells faintly of cheap perfume, and her face, though pretty, is painted with garish makeup. Smiles coyly as she sees you. Seeking some company, love? No, but I have some questions. Sorry, love, but I don't stand here to answer the questions of passerbys. Sure you wouldn't like a little company, No, farewell. I think she's for a quest. Black Abishai. That guy, or whatever this creature is. This black-scaled reptile towers to a height of 8 feet. Its great height, however, is offset by its thin snake-like frame. A long prehensile tail drags behind it, and its leathery wings are hooked behind its back. A strong vinegary smell emanates from the creature, as well as a certain amount of heat. It seems to be ignoring you. Greetings! Whoa, chief. Mort cuts in before you can speak to the creature. Bar that. You don't want to be rattling your bone box with any fiend on the street. Leave be. I wanted to ask it some questions. No, you don't. Mort glances at the creature, then turns back to you and lowers his voice to a whisper. You're touchy. Let's just go. I'll risk it. This black-scaled fiend towers to a greetings. The creature slowly turns its head down to look at you. Its scaled forehead wrinkles into a frown, then it opens its mouth, giving a low, grasping hiss. You notice that the heat radiating from the creature begins to rise. I would speak with you for a moment. The creature opens its mouth, displaying a row of blackened fangs. Fire begins to dance around the shoulders and arms of the creature as it takes a long, slow hiss. Hiss back. The creature roars and launches itself at you. Defend yourself. Mort. Run! I don't think we can fight this. Cannot save while there's hostile enemies nearby.
It wouldn't make you look good.
Oh. Hell no. No. Run. We're out of here. I know we could just go back to the mortuary, but I think that this might work too. I'm pretty sure if Mort dies, I can revive him, but... Wow. That was scary. Oh, please. Okay. Well, we can take this guy on at least, no problem.
Leatherhead.
Really? You just want to attack me, huh? Luckily, you can use Litany of Curses infinitely. There's no limit to how many times you can use it. Which is great in my book. I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm gonna quick save here. That seems like a good thing to do. More hive thugs. Wanna give me hive hugs?
You father of trolls.
You father of trolls. Excuse me.
Damn it.
Oh, he says.
I feel stronger.
Oh, you do? That's good. Nameless one, fighter. Saving throws have improved. Fighter skills have improved. 1 characteristic point gained. 10 hit points gained. I don't remember if 20 is the max or not. Well, that's fine. I don't want to like look it up or anything, so I'm just gonna dump it into there. Alrighty. Hostile creatures, indeed. But thought I had them both selected. I feel like I'm expecting them to be more responsive than they actually are for some reason.
Dog's body.
Yeah, tell him more. Wait. If it affected him.
Rest on your carcass.
Well, I guess he technically is saving, even though... Oh, there we go. Yeah, big damage. Give me your bronze ring. You'll need it. Gili. You see a thin man with stained clothes, a hooked nose, and 2 stubby horns jutting from his forehead. He is stumbling about and muttering to himself. He stinks of brine, vomit, and cheap wine. Greetings. The man squints blur at you. Was it what? Never mind. Sorry to bother you.
Come on in, Cutter. Come on in, Cutter. You're gonna love this.
Come in, Cutter. Yeah. I'll go in. Why not? Have a little chitty chatty. Drusilla, if you can get over the smell, this ain't a bad place. Call Kip, that's what she said, right? This is a woman with fading bruises on her face and arms that look of despairing longing in her sunken eyes. She might have been pretty once, but those days were long ago. She turns slowly to face you. Life pours into her features, and the spark of sardonic light that dances in her eyes now makes you wonder if your eyes were deceiving you. Welcome to the Smoldering Corpse Guard, man. I don't know why that's every woman's voice, but if it's like so bad that it's offensive, I'm sorry, but I'm doing my best. I'm looking for a journal. Would you happen to have seen it? Who are you? I am Drusilla, and you must be clueless. Don't ask me how I know that, it just shines off you. Clueless? I think not. Shines, right. Answer some questions for me. Hi, traveler. What is it you seek? Looking for a journal. Would you happen to have seen it? A journal? Oh sure, I've kept an eye out for all stray journals, just in case some scarred man walks into my favorite bar and starts asking me about it. Do you ask that of everyone you meet? What a fascinating life. Well yeah, I mean... Come on, I'm the nameless one. I have to ask everybody about my journal. Haven't you ever played this game, Drusilla? Get with the times, come on. You have a smart mouth on you, don't you? Aye, a smart mouth for a smart head. I ain't the addle cove you might think sod, but I got the brain on me. If you're so smart, you should be able to answer my questions. Aye, traveler, what is it you seek? What can you tell me about this place? Here, this is the Smoldering Corpse. Though the person smoldering ain't dead yet, He's just keeping himself alive till someone comes along to help him out. Sods like you to see people in pain come here. Fiends like it. Folks don't much care for being bothered to come here too. The name alone keeps most of the bergs. Who is he anyway?
Updated my journal.
That despair you saw on her face before it flits across it again like a black-winged shadow before she masters herself. That's Ignis, one of the greatest wizards ever to come out of this slummy excuse of a cesspool. They caught him and they opened a channel to the plane of fire through him, and now he's just a doorway for keeping himself alive by force of will alone. If someone could douse him for a few moments, I'd give him his life back again. But they don't make enough water to do that. Huh. Someone should be able to find something. Oh well. Can you answer some more questions for me? What's your connection with him? Her voice practically throbs deep ache. I was Ignis' lover, and he, my beloved. He loved the flame more than me, and now he has become the flame. And because I love him, I love the flame. But that's all done with now. Now I wait for him to douse himself. I sell what little I have just so I can be near him. Very well. Answer some other questions. I travel. What does he seek? I'm looking for a collector by the name of Farod. Have you seen or heard of him? Farod, she snickers. The Collector King? You can probably find him and his stinking ilk in the trash warrens on the far side of the hive. Good luck in getting any answers from him. He's a sly devil, he is. Very well. Oh. Didn't mean to do that. Questions? Oh, okay, well I guess that was everything. Okay. Ebb Creek knees. You see a slightly stooped old man with a full gray beard and a lion's mane of gray hair. He wears a couple of shoulder guards as armor, and he keeps a helmet nearby. He smokes a pipe and carries a pouch of tobacco around his waist. He looks pretty strong, but he's a little plump and also appears to have some sort of breathing trouble. Well now, aren't you a sight, lad? Never have I seen so many scars blanketing a fella. Like a scar cloak you're wearing. Where you been, hanging out in a grain thresher? He laughs. Ha ha! Oh, I'm just jesting with ye. No offense meant, and I hope no offense taken. I'm Ebb. He extends his hand. Greetings, Ebb. His handshake is firm. Now, I hereby tender my apologies for the unfair jesting, lad. Hope no hard feelings. Can I buy you a tankard or two of something to smooth any ruffled feathers? Why not? That's the spirit, lad. Bide a moment. He rises to his feet and heads to the bar. After a moment, he returns to his seat with a pair of tankards. Here you go, lad. Drink up. He takes a massive swallow from his own tankard, puffs on his pipe, and says, What can old Ebb do for you on this fine sigil day? I had some questions about this place. Oh, well, I gathered that. Just to look at you. I mean, you don't look like you're from around these parts, lad. You look a little too out of sorts to be a seasoned native. Ebb chuckles and takes another drink. So, what can I help you with, lad? You need to know the lay of the land? Ebb winks. Who are you? Ebb Creekneys, third measure of the harmonium, now retired and being a tout with one's voice since I don't step as lightly as I might the past 2 or 3 decades. He chuckles. Now, lad, who be you and what trouble might you be in? Third measure of the harmonium? Ebb puffs up slightly in pride and gets a semi-stern look on his face. Aye, third measure of the harmonium. He relaxes a little. Though I haven't served the tour of duty in many a decade. Pushing a quill wasn't quite up my alley after all the fights and skirmishes I've been in. So I just bide my time keeping tabs on things down here in the hive and helping out a little where I can. And you look like someone who might need a hand. Are you in some kind of trouble, lad? What fights and skirmishes have you been in? Heb rolls his eyes. More than I can remember, lad. Well, almost more than I can remember. Leastwise, I did an all too long tour in the Blood War, that infernal muck-up. War of lies on Terra's far too many years in the Black Centuries War. Eb begins to tick off the wars on his fingers and counts silently to himself. Then there was the Three Plains War, and many others. I even took part in the Harmonium War of Liberation. Oh, towards the end there, I was also in the Sigil City Watch. Some could argue that was the most dangerous of all. He laughs loudly. The mention of the Blood War feels like a cold dagger slipping into your heart. Ooh. That's gonna be exciting to learn more about, isn't it? Tell me more of the Blood War. Ebb sighs, oblivious to your reaction. Aye, the Blood War. The most dangerous family feud this side of this primordial soup. A mean-spirited mob of fiends on one side, a batch of warmonger fiends on the other. It's the war that creation sparked, and they've been digging into each other ever since. Two sets of fiends warring against each other, eh? Aye, the Tanari, vicious killers who care for none but themselves in the Batuzu war machine, all for law and order under their infernal rules. The whole mess spills out into other planes from time to time, and it's made the multiverse a less pleasant place to live. I see, I had some other questions. Hi lad, what do you want to know? Do you know someone named Farad? Farad? Eb frowns, takes the pipe from his mouth. Now lad, what are you be wanting with a burk like Farad? I think I used to know him. Aye, well the more's your misfortune then, mayhap forgetting some things is better for you then. Eb puffs heavily on his pipe. Considering how old Eb is and how many lifetimes Nameless One has presumably lived, I think that we might know each other. But who knows? What do you know of him? Well, now I don't know everything there is to know about old Farad, but I know some of the dark surrounding him. If you're determined to track down that spider and nail him to a wall, then I suppose I could spill some of the chants so you know what you're tangling with. He pauses to tamp his pipe. Farad dug his nest deep into Ragpicker Square not too long ago, with a bunch of collectors and gangs together that started what one could almost consider a collecting faction. Be that as it may be, where can I find him? Though literally like 20 people have told me already. Well lad, if you're looking for Farad, which I would say is pretty balmy of you, you're a little off the beaten path. You want to be finding Ragpicker Square. Chance is that Farad set up his kip somewhere in the square. Even an old fella like me who's been around the ring a few times don't know exactly where. I figure that Farad wants to keep the dark on his look. If you're all bound and determined to find Farad, go to Ragpicker Square and try to dig up Farad's location from some of the locals. Try and be careful about it, since there's plenty in the square that would make a gut harp out to you as soon as look at ya. I had some other questions. Aye lad, what is it you want to know? What is this place? Here in the Smoldering Corpse Bar, lad. Not a pretty place as some, but it's got its own homespun kind of charm. What's good to drink here? Well, not some say I've got all discrimination when it comes to drink. But I've got drinks I'm partial to, and some vintages to which I'm not. Actually, one of my favorite little things to get here is some Arborean fire seed. You swill them in your mouth, add a little air and some spit and some alcohol, and you can breathe a little fire when you need to. Leastways, that's how it feels. Other question, tell me about the patrons here. Well, you got, who claims to be a letter instead of a person. Some mercy killers waiting around for a criminal, a pair of Abishai on furlough from the blood war, a Githzerai over there who's been watching you from afar, not too unusual, mind you. They're Piri cutters, and Elias down there, a clueless kid whose britches seem to be just a bit too tight. If you get my meaning. If you're wanting information on the plains, talk to Kangelian Ilborn over there. He knows more than most I know. Huh. Who's the smoldering corpse there? Him? Oh, no corpse, lad, no dead or him. Near as we can tell, old Ignis is still alive inside that little rust pit. Near as we can figure, anyway. Ed wrinkles his nose. He can smell damnably awful sometimes, too. Keeps me on the pipe to make sure it doesn't worm its way into my nose, it does. Chuckles. How did he get there? Ed takes the smoke from his pipe for a moment, as if deciding how to phrase his comment. Well now, lad, Ignis had a smattering of problems and some not sightly wizard magics to boot. And seldom do the two mix well, if you understand me. He liked to... Ed puffs on his pipes. Smoke trails up. Well, he liked to burn things and he started torching places and people and generally making a bunch of trouble. And? Well, now, most of this was going on in the hive, and I'll be the first to admit that the hive is not the first place the Harmonium goes to keep Sigil's law. Eb looks a little shamefaced. A failing on our part, since it may be the place where our presence is most needed. So, by the lady's reckoning, there was a little street-side justice in the wizardly community. A bunch of tea leaf readers, hedge wizards, and midwife witches got together and managed to weave a spell that was some kind of poetic justice. Eb gestures with his pipe at the figure. So now he sits there and burns, still alive, which I don't think they counted on. I had some other questions. Tell me Sigil and its environs. Eb laughs loudly. You don't think small, do ya? If you want to know what's outside the city, go talk to Kangelian Ilborn over there. He's the traveler of this place. As far as the rest of it, well, I can tell you of the lady, the Darbis, keys, and portals. The way we keep track of time, the way the city is laid out. What was it you wanted to know? Tell me of the lady. Well now, not many know much about her, lad. And I'm figuring even now, even those that know more than a little don't know too much more. She's a mystery, she is. And even should you run across her, powers forbid, she's silent and deadly. She's not evil as far as I can tell, but she keeps the dark about herself and Sigil pretty tight. None's been able to penetrate it, and if they have, they've been mazed. Go on. Chances are you won't meet her unless you do something really bad. Hurting a lot of people, killing a Darbis, challenging her rule, worshipping her. She hates that. We figure, or interfering with the Darbis' work, which may as well be the lady's work. If you're lucky, just the mercy killers will come for you. But if she comes, you'll be dead as soon as her shadow falls on you. Please continue. Now, the lady can do almost anything in Sigil, lad. Near as we can figure, make it bigger or smaller, make new portals, seal off old ones. Make sure the blood war don't break out into the streets, keep forks from teleporting into the city, keeping the powers out. What did you mean when you said mazed? Aye, sometimes bloods will be packed off to a place where they can't do no harm. The lady, see, she's got a bit of Sigil and make a little dimensional pocket out of it, a maze. She places those that have crossed her in there and lets them rot. Ed puffs his pipe. Now, you can't escape getting mazed once the lady sets her gaze on you, lad. She'll get you eventually, no matter how hard you try and dodge her. You'll be walking down an alley, or about to step through a portal, or take a left turn down a street. You've gone many folds times before, and suddenly you're someplace you don't recognize. Now, Mazes aren't escape-proof. There's always a way out of each. A portal the lady places there. You just have to figure out where it is and how to use it. The accent keeps, or the voice I'm doing for him keeps like shifting around and changing, like, it's just how it is. Other questions about Sigil? Tell me of the Daubus. Aye, those funny floating bloods that speak in symbols. Eb laughs. Quite a piece of work, eh? The Daubus are kind of the lady's janitors and workmen, doing exactly what she wants, make sure Sigil's running up snuff, patching walls, tearing down old buildings, building new ones, setting up portals, sealing off others, and on and on. They're a pretty neutral faring bunch, and you don't want to interfere with one or kill one, or you'll bring the lady's wrath down on you right quick. Other questions about Sigil? Tell me of Sigil's time. The way we measure time in Sigil's by the brightest of the sky. See, we haven't got the sun and moon like most worlds. We just got this everlasting haze that brightens and dark at regular cycles. What most folks call midnight, we call anti-peak. When they call noon, we call peak. See, it's based on the peak and anti-peak of the brightness. So when someone says something about 4 hours past peak, that's what they mean. I had some other questions. Tell me of the city's layout. Woo, let me wet me tongue. He takes a pull from his tankard. The city floats above an infinitely tall spire. This spire, it lies on its side like a discarded wagon wheel, but there's no spokes that connect it to the spire. It's divided into 6 wards, each of them with its own function. Right now, you're in the hive. I think the purpose of the hive is to be squalor to the rest of the city's grandeur. He laughs. Factions, philosophical clubs, or gangs if you prefer, divide up the running of the city between them. Were you in a faction? Heb raises his hand as if to stop you and laughs slightly. Oh, hold on, lad. I'm no has-been faction member, they say, and they're right, that once you're one of the Harmonium, you're a Harmonium for life. We're the Bloods that try to make sure Sigil stays out of trouble. No rocking the spire, no folks getting too over-enthusiastic about hurting each other, keeping the city down to a low roar. We try and keep the peace, lad, and most times we do a decent job. Other questions? Tell me of keys and portals. Sigil's called the City of Doors for a reason, lad. There's portals everywhere. Portals are, well, like doors that lead across the multiverse. Except they don't look like doors. Instead, they can be any bounded space. Window, door, porthole, picture frame, bell, hoop, the spaces inside scaffolding, a wardrobe. Each could be a portal, waiting for just the right key to open it and take you someplace in the multiverse. Now, keys. Go on. Aye. Each portal has a key you need to open it. Now, while portals can be any bounded space, keys have more variety. They can be anything from a little tune you hum when next to a portal, to dancing a jig, to being in the right mood, to having a piece of the place you want to go in your hand, and on and on. In my youth, I once convinced a girl that kissing a man beside it could open a portal to Arcadia. Turned out I was right. And many trips to Arcadia did we have. Many portals probably have never been found. There's some you can uncover just by asking people and getting the right key. Finding out the dark of a portal is the toughest part. But I warn you, lad, portal hopping shouldn't be a pastime for a fella in your way. Nor should you be wandering Sigil after dark, neither. You do best to stick to the main ways, an open peek and watch yourself. I had some other questions. Okay. Alright. My goodness. What a mouthful. So I think that we're going to pick up on the Smoldering Corpse bar in our next episode of Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition. And this has been Rolls and Rockets. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great time. Bye-bye.